I'm here as a M&D product expert and senior service consultant in Jordan, Malaysia. And today our workshop topic is MagiCAD hydraulics. It's all about the piping, right? So we're going to discuss today is on the piping. And let me show my agenda for today. So here is our agenda for today. We're going to look at draw functions of MC piping and also the productivity tools and the pipe sizing and balancing and also the sprinkler calculation mainly. So these are the main topics for today we're going to cover in our workshop. And before that, let me introduce who we are. Let me introduce my company background. So MagiCAD is a company who founded this MagiCAD software in 1983 with 100 plus employees, and it's part of Gloden group now. So as we all know that Gloden is the 5th largest AEC player in the industry. I believe everybody knows who's the number one. Of course, Autodesk. Yeah. Our HQ for MagiCAD is still working from Finland. We have offices around UK, Sweden, and the partners in Europe, China, Russia, Middle East, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. And so far we have sold over 20,000 licenses in use with 5 languages, and 80 plus countries are using our products. And we have a biggest database library for the MEP. That's the best part of MagiCAD. So we don't need to look for the products when you want to do modeling or when you want to do calculations. So we have nearly 300 manufacturers and 1 million plus products are available. And we are Autodesk Association solution partners, I can say. And we mean that we don't do the same thing what Autodesk do. So we try to enhance their products and make it better and better to reach the end users. And we have 90% market share in the Northern Europe and a strong presence in Russia and China. And here is our history. 1993 company was founded, and 1990s itself, we started focusing on the building information modeling. And in 1996, Autodesk Corporation is started, and right after 2 years, we released the first version of MagiCAD for AutoCAD. So exactly 20 years back, we already introduced the MagiCAD plugin inside the AutoCAD, and then we started doing the modeling inside AutoCAD. So where there were no Revit in the picture, we were able to do a 3D modeling inside the AutoCAD itself. So we still carry that product. We still can use MagiCAD for AutoCAD. So we still carry, but in 2020s, later 2000 year 2000, so there is a new era started, and then the people Autodesk started developing the Revit. So we thought Revit is the future, and we also released the MagiCAD for Revit in 2009 for the first time. And from there, it's still we carry both products out of MagiCAD for AutoCAD and MagiCAD for Revit. And it's become part of Gloden Group in 2014, and we reached 1 million MEP objects in 2015, and 270 plus, almost nearly now it's no longer 300, 270 is more or less 300. And in 2015, we sold 20,000 licenses. We also launched the MagiCloud in 2016. So that's our brief history. And MagiCAD, coming back to the MagiCAD is a complete solution for MEP. And both Revit and AutoCAD. And why MEP? Why MagiCAD is only focusing on MEP? Because if you look at the Autodesk or Revit or AutoCAD, they have a wide angle. They are wide angle softwares. They do the architecture, they do the structure, they do the other services as well. But when it comes to the MagiCAD, we only do MEP. We don't do the other things. So that's where we majorly divided them into 3 parts. So one is productivity tools, where you can do the modeling much faster. And the second part is calculations. With all the models you have done, we can go for a direct calculation. So all this while we will be carrying the different platforms through the calculations, right? So that's where we integrate the engineering calculations with the models, and we can run the calculation immediately. And to do the best calculation, or to do the best models, we need to have a better model. So that's why we also launch our own product library with approved manufacturer products. All our products are most approved manufacturer or generic products. Generic products is also comes with very detailed information. So here we go and see all the product features later. And these are the licensing options that we are providing for the MagiCAD. Ventilation is for the ducting work, piping is a piping. So today we're going to focus on piping. So these pipings can do all the chilled water pipe, cold water, sanitary pipes, sprinkler pipes, and all the related pipes. And the electrical, where we can do electrical and ELV works, and the supported hangers is a separate license for that. And where you can also do sprinkler calculations with the sprinkler calculation module, and we can also generate the switchboard schematics, the general schematics, not the switchboard. And these are the 6 licenses that we are carrying currently. And let me show you for the live workshop today. So these are the topics that we're going to cover today. We start with the draw functions and end with the match create functionality, how we get it. So I hope everybody can see my screen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here is my views. Yeah, first let me show you how we without introducing a data set. MagiCAD is always incomplete. So what is data set? So data set is nothing but a set of information. Yeah, for the first time, viewers who are not seen MagiCAD before, MagiCAD is basically a plugin. Here you can see these are the few Revit tabs here, and there are additional tabs for MagiCAD that is inside the Revit. So means whatever you're doing is inside the Revit. Whatever you save it, whatever you do it, all the works is saved in the Revit format, or RVG or RFA or RFA or RVT files. So you don't need to worry about the file formats anymore, right? And let me introduce the data set. So we always have a data set which is called set of information. So instead of you loading the information into your families or your data into the MagiCAD templates or Revit templates or Revit projects, you can actually load this data into a data set. So data set is a separate file which doesn't occupy any of your space from the Revit project. So that's where you can save a lot of information, you can reduce the file size of the Revit project basically. So that's one of the indirect benefits of using a data set. And there are different direct benefits, like you can manage all the pipe series. For example, if I have a pipe series, you can see here piping category, and where I copy, and then I can create a new pipe series with my own name. So that there is no restriction for you to create a pipe series or different pipe series, right? And you can also put a user code R1 or anything. So I just put as a pipe series. I'm just putting my name just to show that you can put anything. So, and the code also you can put, and here you can see the sizes, different sizes you can add up, and you can also specify what is the internal diameter and the outer diameter and the size of the walls and the zone wall sizing for the piping. So these are the things that you can create. And moreover that in Revit, if you want to create a pipe series, you have to modify different information in the different places, right? So that causes a lot of time sometimes. But here in MagiCAD, it's pretty much very easy, and you can easy accessible and easy modifiable, easy editable, I can say. And you can also load the fittings. If you want to load a fitting like a bands or joints, plug or reducers, whatever the fittings that are required to use in the model. So these can be created from here. These can be loaded from here. And you using a Magic Create, you can also create your own fitting styles based on the dimension or based on the catalogs that are given by the local manufacturer. So this doesn't really need a manufacturer. So you can take any manufacturer catalog of the pipe series and you can create your own pipe series here. And you can also set up your pipe sizing openings. So later we're going to see where we can set these pipe size openings data. And not moreover, other than that, since we are talking about the calculation, so when you want to do the engineering calculation, you must have a technical information like such as roughness values and roughness value for the domestic water and the Hazen-Williams formula if you're using a Hazen-Williams formula to calculate, and the thermal conductivity, and maybe if you use a Dasser-Williams formula, so you can also use the thermal conductivity values. So these are the basic technical information that we need to feed into the pipe series. These information can be feed earlier or can be feed later, but before you do the calculation, you must need this data should be presented. And you can also convert these pipe series into a flexible pipe series. So if you want to create a flexible pipe or anything, you can also create from here. So that's about the piping series. And you can also create an insulation series. You can have different types of insulation, especially chill water pipes and the sanitary pipes. We might need insulation at the different times, right? So you can also create insulation for the different pipe series. And we also have a sizing methods, which is really important. So every engineer can do their own sizing method. It's not mandatory that you have to follow a particular sizing method or anything. You can create your own sizing methods and you can do a pipe sizing calculation based on these. So let me show you how do we do here, for example. So here you just need to define what are the name of the sizing method and what are the description here. And you can also specify what is the diameter. So for example, if you want to go by each and every size, you can also put up 100 diameter with a 1 meter meter per second velocity, and what is the pressure loss. And some cases you can also mix match with the velocity and pressure loss. Here you can see my maximum diameter is 999 and the velocity is 2 meter. Means every area I will follow the 2 meter per second flow rate, and then it will do the pipe sizing for us. So, and where else you can also see the pressure loss method. So pressure loss, it will follow the pressure loss in the piping, and then it will do the sizing. So likewise, you can also create your own methods. You can also mix match with pressure loss and velocity, or you can only do a pressure loss, or you can only do a velocity type. But sprinklers are a bit different here. So you have a low hazard class, so you can create your own tables. So basically you create your own tables of sprinkler tables. So you just need to specify the 3 sprinkler 25, 4 sprinkler 32, 5 sprinkler 40, or 10 sprinkler 50. These are the commonly we use. So whatever the tables that you use regularly, you can put up here, and then you can load them into your project. So you can see I have 2 different tables here. I named them as a low hazard or significant hazard class, but you can also name it as per the local standard or MS standard tables or NFPA tables or British standard tables. So you can put up any standard tables here. And we also have a balancing methods. So same like the sizing methods, you can also create a balancing methods here. So where you can define the balance, how you want to perform the balancing inside the pipes. So there you will automatically do the balancing for us. All right. And the hazard classes for the sprinkler. So you can also define what are the hazard classes that you want to use in the calculations. So you can also define that here, right? And the devices and the components, here we can see we have different types of devices are available. So all of them are different category. You can load the heating and radiator walls, or zone water, stop wall, other walls. So every category they have different types. So based on that, you can load, for example, if you have a sprinkler device, so if you want to load a sprinkler device, you can add a new sprinkler device, or if you want to modify any information before you install, you can also visualize your product models. So not just like a Revit. If you want to install something, you have to place them, or you have to edit the family, then only you must be able to see the product properly. But in Revit, in MagiCAD, you don't need to do that. If you go to our data set, you can actually visualize what you're going to do, what product you're going to install in the model. So that's also there. Moreover, other than that, you can also select the 2D symbols. Here you can see there are different types of 2D symbols available for as you can see here. Here you can see our MYS, which is a localization and Malaysian symbols, which is already done and released in the market, so where we can download and you can use the Malaysian symbols also. So for example, if I want to use this circle, half fill circle or full fill circle, I just select that, so it will be selected as my symbol. So when I present the 2D drawing, so this symbol will be printed into the symbol is converted into the 2D drawing. So where when I convert my 3D models into 2D drawings, I don't have any problems. So likewise, you can do the symbols for the domestic water devices or sanitary devices or anything. So wherever you want to, whatever the symbols that you want to use, you can load them at any time of the project. You can also change these symbols during the project also. So for example, if you want to change a symbol, you can select the new symbol and then upgrade to the project, so that this will be updated inside the project automatically. So you don't need to worry that if you use a wrong symbol, or if you didn't use a correct symbol, you don't need to worry about that. And you will also specify the operational area. You can also show that in the model. So likewise, you have every discipline has their own settings in the data set, so where you can set up their pipe series or installation series or a device information or any other information that you want to put inside the model. So this information is stored as a separate file. So these can be, likewise, we store the different templates. Likewise, we can also use different data sets. Some companies use they have a different data set for the hospital projects. They have different data set for the commercial project. They have different data set for the service apartment or building residential projects. So that's also possible. And we also have other information like provision for the building works. Later we can come back here. So, so this is about the data set. So first, you don't need to worry about the data set. As a localization in charge in Malaysia, I will be looking after the basic requirements. So we already build up the local symbols, and we already build up the local data sets that are the commonly products that we are using in Malaysia. So already loaded them. Whoever our clients are already received the data sets, which is called MY data sets. So that can be used and that can be modified further for your requirement. Right. Coming back to the piping, so let me show you what are the draw functions that we have in the piping. So for example, if you want to draw a pipe in normal Revit, you have to go to the system and then select the pipe, and then you have to pick the height at the different place. If you have insulation, you have a bottom of the pipe. Most of the time we use the bottom of the pipe, but unfortunately you can't pick up a bottom of the pipe in Revit. But in MagiCAD, you can see here, there's a pipe here. Directly you can access the pipe, and you can also define the system, what system you're going to draw. And for example, if I want to draw a sprinkler system, so any pipe doesn't matter, and I can pick up the diameter and what type of material that I'm going to use, for example, Fe35 or these type of pipe series that I want to use, so I can directly pick up. And I can also specify the bottom of the pipe. For example, this bottom of the pipe I want to specify as a 2.5 meters, so I can directly specify as a 2.5 meters. In case if you don't know where you want to draw, you already know that there is somebody is drawn before, so you can also use this reference information like the top of the pipe, center of the pipe, bottom of the pipe. For example, if I pick the bottom of the pipe of this existing pipe or this existing element, doesn't matter, it should be a same discipline, it can be other discipline as well. So from there you will know that what is the bottom of the existing pipe. From that pipe, you can also adjust with the tolerance, or you can also use the same values. So for example, I want a 100 mm tolerance minus 100. So it will automatically adjust to that pipe with the tolerance, and then you will draw the height of 2.8 meters. Right, and you can also change this value directly. If you know that, you can also put it as regularly how do we do, and but you select all the necessary information that I in the building information modeling, right? that is possible to do it. Put the information of for the piping, or doesn't matter whether you're doing piping or you're doing a ducting or cable trace or anything, any discipline, you can put up the information like system information, material information, and also the elevation information. So that's all, and then you can go for a draw function. So whenever you draw MagiCAD pipes, you always have a productivity tools, which is a special toolbar is open here. So from this, using this special toolbar, you can actually draw, and you can actually go to the other options where this is a settings where you can adjust the elevations and all, and the same window here. Or you can also draw a little bit, and then you can also go to angle to horizontal. You can see, so these angle to horizontal tools, you without any exiting options, you can actually draw the angle pipes. Like for example, I want to go 45 degrees pipe with the same 3-meter height of bottom elevation. It means I'm drawing a pipe without any hassle, without any breaking. I'm drawing the pipe with the 45 degrees up to the 3 meters. So then I just click OK. Then now my pipe connection is already generated to the 3 meter. Then I can draw without any hassle. So where if you want to do this in Revit, you have to draw 2 different segments, and then you have to draw make sections, and then only can be achieved this much. So but in MagiCAD you can do it very fast. So then again I want to go with angle to horizontal with a 90 degrees, and this time I want to go back to the 2 meters, then click OK, and it will automatically go down. So then I can draw the pipe over here. So this is a draw functionality, and you also have other functions like you want to have a Y branch or X branch or a N branch or a tap connection or a T connection. This also you can choose from the easy access toolbar, special toolbar that will be open only during when you use MagiCAD draw functions, right? So let's see how it was drawn in the 3D view. So just select this and use a 3D section box from MagiCAD and click OK. So here we can see that pipe is already drawn, and this pipe I was drawing at the bottom elevation with 2.5 meters, and it was going up with the 45-degree bends, which is really important. And you can't draw any free angle. Sometimes Revit tend to give any free angle, but it may be possible in the model, but it may not be possible in the actual installation. So end of the day, you might be facing problems with it. So then you can automatically make a connection and go into the 3 meters, and then I have used the 90-degree bands, and I went down with the different elevations. So these are the things that you can draw very fast. So when you initially draw using the redrawing, or when you're doing a design, you can actually draw pipes quite fast. So it's also applicable for all the disciplines of the pipes. So you can choose any system or any material, and then you can draw your own pipes, right? So coming back to the installation of the product. So what are the installation options that MagiCAD is providing? For example, if I take this product or create similar. So whenever you use a MagiCAD, you always tell you that where you want to, what is your top of the item, what is your bottom elevation of the item, what is your connection point. I mean, if you have any connection point, you will automatically pick up that. Then you also have a product variables, object variables, which is additional properties or additional parameters that you can create, and you can use this information in the future for being. So in the building information modeling, we have to put a lot of information. So if you miss any information, if you wish to put any information, you can use these object variables to put in the information. Same information will be extracted out using the same values, right? So that is also possible. And you can see here, if I adjust this top of the height into the 900 mm, so it will automatically follow the value according to the given value. So then you use a free options, you can directly place them, or you can also use array functions For example, draw a line. For example, I want to place a 3 pieces. For example, you can put 3 pieces. So just draw a line, and it will automatically install the 3 items for me. And you can also use wall mounted or a floor mounted. It depends. So by default, we most of the products are independent products. So that's also possible. You can also use wall mounted products if you need. So, but other than that, we can also do array functions. We can also install this devices based on the Revit space. Revit has a best option of creating rooms based on the space elements, right? Based on the draw boundaries, using the boundaries, and then we can draw the rooms and the spaces. So using that, we're going to install this devices. For example, let's take an example of the sprinklers. For example, if I want to install a sprinkler, so which is at 2.4 meters, right? So I just take this, put in the course so that you can see the 2D symbols over here. Yeah, I'm going to use this sprinkler, create singular. Then let's draw a just arrange a sprinklers inside this room. So what I need to do is I just specify my height, and I can also specify what is the coverage area, what is the design density, and what is the required pressure. So for example, if I want a 1000 millibar, which is 1 bar, I can specify the required pressure as 1 bar. And you can also use this array by selecting the space. So when I select the space, I can choose a distance. Either I want a 2.7 meter by 2.7, or whether I want a 3 meter by 3 meter. So you can, or 3 by 4 meters. Any method that you like to, any distance that you like to place, you can specify here. The arrangement, you can leave it to the software. So for example, if I click this space, so this will be placed automatically inside that particular space. And you can see the installation is already done, and you can see them now, right? So that's how fast we can do the installation. So for example, if you want to do the same installation for the other areas like this, so even though it's not a non-rectangular room, you still can arrange them, for example, 3 by 4 meters. So I select these, and then it will automatically install the inside that room. The same goes with the other room. So if you have a Revit spaces, if you have a Revit architecture, so the architect must be creating the room. So using the room, you can create the spaces, and you can, even if you don't have a room also, you still can create a normal spaces like this. You can see that there is no architectural boundaries in this area. So I just use a row space operator, and then I have created different spaces. So if you're taking your AutoCAD as a reference, so you still can use this, you can utilize the space options. So other than that, we also have functions like a define area. For example, define area. For example, you just define the start point and end point. Start point and end point. So we'll automatically install the sprinklers inside that defined area. So for example, let's take this row box here. Define this point to this point, it will automatically place this devices within that area. So, and we also have different functions like a draw line or a select line, draw area, for example. If I draw this area, it will automatically install inside this area. And then I'm completed. So that's how fast you can install the sprinklers. So next is how we do the device connections. So to do the device connections, what I need is I just need to draw the main pipe here. So for example, I take this main pipe, and then I draw a main pipe here. So I just draw a main pipe. From there, I can actually use the device connections. So when it comes to the device connections, so let's see how we do the connection for the plumbing and the cold water first, then we can move back to the sprinklers later, right? So for example, here we can see there is a the basin are already organized, and I draw main pipes which is going to connect to these basin, and there is a hot water pipe and also the cold water pipes. For example, if you want to connect these cold water and hot water pipes, which are very tiny, and you have a lot of them, maybe you have in a row basins in the public toilets or any other area. So if you want to connect them one by one, that costs a lot of time. So but in MagiCAD you can use pipe connections. So all you need to do is specify the device and specify the cold water pipe and also the hot water pipe. So then it will automatically generate the connection for us. You can also see a preview here, and for example, I want to connect from the back side, so you can see that the connection is automatically done here, and the same thing will reflect in the model as well. So I can also manage the spacing. If I need to manage if the two pipes are connecting this side, you can these side connections, you can also manage the space with a clearance of 50 mm. So then you just click OK. So same goes with this. Specify the hot water and the cold water. Doesn't matter whether you pick the hot water first or whether you pick the cold water first. So this connection will be automatically done as per the given or as per the chosen option. So you can choose your own options. That it's not particular that we have to use a particular way to connect. So that's also possible. Sorry. Yeah, then let me finish these connections. Then we can move on to the next. So it's basically based on your device connection. For example, if I'm using a tap with both hot water and cold water connection, then you have to choose both cold water and hot water pipe. So for example, if your tap connection don't have hot water connection, then you can directly just choose a cold water pipe with you. It's not mandatory that you have to choose a hot water and cold water pipe every time. It doesn't matter. It's not matter. So based on the situation, you can choose. So then let me close these pipes with a cap, because if you want to perform engineering calculation, it should not be open and at the both sides. So this consider we have the feed point is here. Sorry. So later we go and once this is done, you can also check with a 3D view that how the connection was done. So here we can see. So the pipes are connected like this. So I use a simple connection for now. So if you want a detailed connection such as this, it's also possible. For example, we can see in my here. So I have used a flexible connection, which is more realistic than the other, because that here I use a normal pipe to connect everywhere, but here I use a flexible connection to connect it directly. So that is also possible to do. So there you can see. So the pipes are hidden in the wall, so you can't see them. So you can use a wireframe. Yeah. So this way also possible, which is more realistic for the cold water connections. And coming back to the plumb sanitary connections, you can use a drainage. So basically every category, every type of pipes has a different connection tools. So it's not we were not restricting you to use only for this type of pipes or that type of pipes. You can use any types of any building services especially. So all the different disciplines we covered already. So just need to specify the device and the pipe, So here you can see there are different options here. So for example, whether I want to use this connection or this connection with a 45 band, which is smoother in the flow, and whether this connection which is straight direct with a Y branch. So I don't need to use any other fitting in between. Right. So for example, this one is more reliable, and you can also put side of the connection here. You can see there's a pipe here, and whether you want to connect from the side or whether you want to connect from the top of the pipe, you can also choose. And here we also have a 2 elbows or 1 elbow. You can also define that. So for example, if you choose a 2 elbow, it will generate a 245 bands, or if you want 1 band with a 90, you will also generate 1 band with a 90. And other than that, you can also specify the connection slope, so which is must require to avoid the clashes in further. So it's better to show the slope as well, and so which is more realistic in terms of installation, right? So I have used a 6% slope, so then you will connect with a 6% slope value. Then you can see the connection is performed. So here you can see this pipe is flowing down with 6%, going down with a 6% slope, and this pipe is also matching with that, and they're going with the 6% slope from the device to the end of the pipe, right? So that is also possible. And then you can also use a device to make a connection to the different devices. So once you use the same connection, you don't need to repeat this selection again. So like this, you can connect the devices. So for the chill water pipes, if you have a radiators, you can also use a radiator. For example, this you can see here, there are chill beams, and using that beams, you can also connect to the pipes of the different chill water supply and chill water return pipes. So that is also possible. So coming back to the sprinkler connection, so I haven't connected the sprinklers here. So for the sprinkler connection, we have a sprinkler connection separately. So all that you need to do is select the sprinkler connection, whether you want a side connection or antenna connection or a grid connection. So you can choose based on the situation. For example, I want to use antenna connection with this area. Then you will, when I pick this main pipe, then you will start the connection from that point. So then you'll generate all the connections. So since it's there are many different sprinklers, so it will take a few seconds more. Then you can see that the sprinklers are, all of them are connected together. So we don't need to individually connect any one sprinkler. So we can select a bunch of the sprinklers and then connect them into the main pipe. So it will do the pipe for us. And you can see if you want to use a connection pipe series, and if you want to change a pipe series, you can change from here also. And the diameter, if you want to change, you can also change from here. But later we can resize this. But mainly you can change the pipe series. That's one of the important aspects. And you can see here, for example, this sprinkler is basically connected with a normal pipe. If you want to use a flexible pipes, you can actually use a flexible pipe also. So for example, this pipe. So this is a flexible pipe. So that will automatically generate a connection with the flexible pipe, and the diameter of 15 mm or 20 mm. So if you need that, you can also apply that. So other than that, you can also manage the range pipes, and you can also adjust the sprinkler pipes. So for example, all these sprinklers, you want offset the pipe of 200 mm. So you can just go to the sprinkler pipe connection, and you can choose an offset of 200 mm. So then the sprinkler may not move, but the pipes will move around, because the sprinkler position in terms of coverage area, sprinkler position is already fixed. So we don't move the sprinklers, we just move the pipes around the sprinklers. So if you put a positive, you'll go into the left or right. If you put a negative, you will go to the other side. So you can also manage this direction from the left to right, right to left, by using the plus or minus values, right? So you can see that, for example, if I already place a 200 mm spacing offset value, and it's already generated. connections. You can see that. So that's also possible. So if you don't want, if you just need a straight connection, you can also use it. And you can also do with a two elbow or two elbow from the top or two elbow in the bottom. So most of the pendants you might need a connection of two elbow connection, so that when the ceiling is raised, the ceiling is put up, so then you can do a coordination and you can rearrange the sprinklers. At that time it will be more helpful, right? So now you can see that there are still left a few more connections to do. Let me finish that also. Sorry. Adjust these pipe and then connect to the sprinkler connections, side wall, and then to the. So this is very simple. All you need to do is you just select the sprinklers and you just select the main pipe. Then it will automatically do the connection for us. So then it's okay. Then if you don't like to have a extra pipes, I'm sorry, extra pipes, you can actually convert them and delete them and turn out to be elbow. So now we are looking at the course views. That's why it is able to show only single line. We can also change it to fine or fine to see the double line, because sprinklers are very tiny, so that's why I'm showing in the course view. So then let me finish this connection as well. Then this is all. So that means that you can also do a single sprinkler connection, or you can also do a multiple sprinkler connection based on the situation. Right. So now next is how we do the sizing. So when you do this, when you want to do the sprinkler sizing, all you need to know is what are the sprinkler tables that you want to use. So especially when you look at our local standards, MS standards. So MS standard says that end pipe must follow a different table. So they have specified in the MS standard. If you look at the MS standard, if you come across MS standard, you will know that what are the end pipe tables, what are the branch pipe tables, what are the main pipe tables already specified. You are already aware of it mostly. So then using that table, for example, I have taken two tables here. One is a branch pipe table and another one is end pipe table. So I'm going to use that tables and then I'm going to do my sprinkler sizing. So if you want to do the sprinkler sizing, first thing first, you have to make sure that your data is available. So you can see the design data here, and we go to the sprinkler sprinkler sizing methods, and you can see these are the tables inside the data set, and these are the tables inside the project. So it's not mandatory that you have maybe the name is same, but the information may not be correct. So that's why what I want to do is I select these two tables and then load them into then it will automatically override the information here. So then I can make sure that this is information here in the data set and the project is same. So you can also change vice versa. You can also use the project tables into the data set or data set tables into the project. You can exchange the information using this design data. Then we go for the sprinkler MagiCAD piping and then go for the calculations, sprinkler sizing. Then you just need to specify the network. For example, this whole thing is a network because it has only one open end. So the first rule of thumb of when you want to do a sizing for the piping, whether you use a Revit or whether you use MagiCAD, you have to make sure that there is no open ends. There are no open ends more than one. So means it should not have more than one open ends. So you can see here, if you want to check, you can also use analyze tool to identify the open ends, or you can use your own ways to find out the openings. That costs a lot of time maybe, but you can make sure that there are not many openings. Only one feed point should be. So from that feed point, you will automatically size. So whether it is a sprinkler or whether it is a chill water or a cold water or sanitary pipes. So whenever you want to do sizing, you should not have more than one open ends, right? Then here I have the two tables here. So I have selected the low hazard class, which is a general table, which is applicable for all the areas. Then I click OK, and then I select the network. Any piece of the network, if I select, it will automatically identify the feed point and then start doing the sizing from that point. So for example, if I select any pipe in the network, so here we can see there are simple schematic skeleton diagram is automatically generated on your report. So this is a sprinkler sizing report that is generated by the MagiCAD, and you can see the network diagram that is drawn roughly, and you can also see the which floor is it belongs to, and what is a pipe type of the item type, and whether it is a branch or is a pipe or is a bend or anything. You can also specify here. So you can see that there is a sprinkler, there's a pipe, there's a bend, there is a pipe, there is a branch, there is a pipe. So likewise you can, and you can also see what is a series that you're using, and you can also see what is a product that you're using and what is the size. So previously it was something else, now it was resized to be 100, right? And you can see that there are different sizes in the different area. So based on my table here is every 3 sprinklers, 1, 2, 3. After 3 sprinklers, there must be a different size here. So there are 25 or 32, for example. If you look at these 3, and this is a 4th sprinkler, 25 here, 3 sprinkler 25, and more than 3 will automatically jump to the given table size. So you can see in the plan also. So then if you need this information, you can also print it out or copy to the clipboard, or you can also use update. Means if you want to reflect this data into the model, you just click update. So it's just one click that will change entire pipe size of your network. So if for example, if you connect to the 10 floors, all the 10 floor pipe sizes will automatically change according to your tables. So you don't need to worry about that. So just click update to the model. Then it will, now it's resizing my pipe size, right? So where you can, I'll just move into the fine view, where you can see the real double lines. Fine, yeah. So we can see that there are the pipes and the different pipes with the different branches, and there is a different reducers. And as per the given table, so 3 sprinklers must follow the 25 diameter, and more than 3, the 4th sprinkler which is connected here should follow the 32 diameter. So according to my table, it's correct. Then that's about the sprinkler sizing. And coming back to the cold water pipe connection sizing, so for example, if you already connected the devices, right? So when you want to do the sizing, all you need to do is same, go to the calculation, and one single piping module can do all the pipes. Like you can do the cold water pipes, you can do the sanitary pipes, you can do the chilled water pipes for the AC water and chilled water return pipes, and you can do all the firefighting pipes, so hose reel or hydrant pipes or the sprinkler pipes or any other gas pipes if you require. So, but you may not be able to do the gas pipe calculations, but you can draw the gas pipes as well. If you any one of us doing belongs to the oil and gas industry here, but you may not be able to do the pipe sizing, but you're able to draw the pipes and the models quickly. All right. You can also use the connection tools and the draw functions. You can enjoy that. Yeah, because which is literally very hard if you're doing AutoCAD or if you're doing a Revit maybe. So maybe that might take longer time for oil and gas people. So if you're using, especially most of the ONG people sometimes use AutoCAD, so that's maybe difficult for them. Okay, so let's see how to do the domestic water sizing here. So domestic water sizing, all you need to do is pick up the sizing, and you can specify a branch or a network. Branch is nothing but, if you look at these pipe fitting or these pipe fitting, from that point of the pipe fitting to the other side is called a branch. A network means the whole thing is called a one network. So you can also use by the network, you can also use by the branch. Means if you particularly want to do a particular segment with a particular sizing, so you can also use a branch, because we don't want to restrict you by using the particular method. You have to, so you have a freedom to use, right? And you can also specify the sizing method. So here you can see there are 5 different sizing methods. 2 is based on the pressure loss, and 4 of them are based on the velocity. You can see 1.5 meter per second, or 0.5 meters, or 2 meters, or 3 meters. So you can specify. So before we do the sizing, what I need to do is I can also maybe later I can show you that. Yeah, I will show you before after doing sizing what are the basic information you should put in. Then you can also automatically, if you want to tap offsets, or if you want to measure any, you want to put particular distance with the reducers, so you can also put that 100 mm or 200 mm or 300 mm, because in general it will directly attach very close to the fittings, next fitting, if you have a reducer or anything. So you can also specify that. Then you can also specify the warning limits. If the time to reach the hot water design temperature is more than 10 seconds, it will give a warning. You won't stop us doing a calculation, it will just give us a warning. So all we need to do is specify the sizing method for the cold water, hot water, and you can use a different method, of course. Maybe cold water with a flow rate, velocity, or maybe hot water with the pressure loss. You can mix match, so no restriction. Then I just need to specify any of the pipe in the network. It's not mandatory you have to pick up 2 pipes. So here we can see the likewise in the sprinklers. This one is very detailed. Here it will also tell you what is the old size of the pipe and what is the new size of the pipe. So likewise, you can see here, there's a different, this is only cold water. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tap connections, and so these will be calculated accordingly. And you can also, this connection here in the devices, basically you can specify according to the families. Maybe you can modify them in the families, or you can modify using a MagiCAD. So then based on that, it will do the right sizing. This is a cold water, and if you want to see the sizing for the hot water, you can also see the hot water sizing, how it was done. And you can also see the general results. So what is the general results that we are required? So then what you need to do is, if you want to update this information, you just click update to the model. The sizes according to the calculation report will be override in the model. So if you draw any size randomly, no need to worry. Or if you're some cases, maybe you can take a case like this. It may be the consultant or designer consider the over designed it. So as a value engineer, as a contractor, responsible contractor, you can maybe do a value engineering, and you can save the cost for yourself or maybe for the owner side. So you can also do that. So without an engineering degree, you can also do engineering with MagiCAD. That's what I mean to say. So I'm not saying that you have to do it every time, but you have option to do. If you want to prove yourself, you can also prove with the calculations by using MagiCAD. So next is this sizing is done. So then if you want to do the sizing for the chilled water pipes, so we can also do the chilled water pipe sizing here by using the cooling sizing for the cooling. Then all you need to do is put the method that you want to use in the network, just click OK, and then select the pipe. So just select any hot water pipe or a return cold water pipe or a return pipe. So you can see that the different pipe sizes. This is a 32 diameter, is 40 diameter is changing from the 40 to 32. And you can also see these pipes are connected to the different floors. So you can also understand that this connection is going to the second floor and also going to the third floor and the first floor. So you can see different areas. So you can see the return or water, chilled water return pipes, and these also will be resized accordingly. And then you can also see the general results. So then you can see and you can also change the pipe size. You can see you can set a pipe size here. For example, if you want to set up a pipe size, if you think that MagiCAD pipe size is not sufficient, you want to go for a factor of safety, you can also add on the pipe size from here. Then you can just click and update the sizing and then update to the model. So then this will automatically update in the drawings, right? You can see that 3 floors, I had a first floor, second floor and third floor. All the 3-floor pipe sizing is done just within one click. Just click one time and then it will automatically resize the pipes. Then coming back to the calculations. So what are the calculations that we can do here is we can, as we mentioned, we can do the sizing and balancing for the cooling water, chill water, and domestic water sizing and balancing, and the drainage flow calculation, and we can also do the sprinkler sizing and the sprinklers calculations. So these are the all the calculation that we can do, and we also follow the standards. We also follow the local and also the international standards. So let me show you what are the standards that we follow for the sprinkler calculation. So when you want to do a sprinkler calculation, you also make sure that your design area is defined. So you can see there is a control and there is a design area, sprinkler design area. For example, my design area is test 1. I put a test 1 and what is the height of the area and what is the sprinkler category and what is the hazard category. So you can put ordinary, hazard, OH1, OH2, anything. And you want to create a fill region, you can also create fill region, otherwise you can leave it. Then you need to specify the sprinklers, how many sprinklers that you want to operate. So you can choose to work on a plane, and you can use a rectangular box to draw the box up. So you can, whatever the sprinklers you are selecting under this area, you have to make sure these are the is going to be operating now, right? So all you need to do is specify the number of sprinklers. So different standards says different numbers. So I'm just using roughly now. I'm using 9 sprinklers, for example, 18 sprinklers, 27 sprinklers, or 14 sprinklers. So different standard has a different. So then what I need to do, I have to make sure that, for example, I select these and then filter only sprinklers. And all the sprinklers that I'm going to use are having a coverage area. Coverage area is 9 meters square or 12 meters square. For example, I put a 9 meters square, and the design density is 7.5, which is very high. And just use that, and 100 kilopascal, which is 1 bar. So this is the basic information that you need to put in. And other than this, what else information you need to consider to do the sprinkler calculation? So when you look at the sprinkler technical information, so you also need to specify the sprinkler K factor, so which is coming from the MagiCAD. So later I will show you MagiCreate, where you can put all this technical information into the products, whether it is a manufacturer. If it is manufactured, by default is coming from the manufacturer. If it is a generic products, user can modify this information, and they can use that in the calculation. So, and other than that, you also need a temperature rating. So these two information you make sure you put in the model. So if you want to modify, you can modify here. So in case of you using a normal Revit sprinklers, then you want to apply a MagiCAD calculations, then you can upgrade your normal Revit sprinkler into a MagiCAD sprinkler by putting this kind of information, and you can perform the engineering calculations with your Revit model as well. It's not particularly that you have to do it in the MagiCAD modeling. So we don't restrict you with that, but you have to update the some information, and you can perform the engineering calculation here as well. Then now I'm done with the basic information of putting, then I can go for a sprinkler calculation. So sprinkler calculations, just select the pipe, then it will automatically detect the design areas that I have. And here you can see there are the different standards that we are going to cover here. So these are European standards, CEA, NFPA, British, UNI, and Malaysia, Singapore, Australian, European, and Swiss. So there are plenty of different standards that we support. For example, let's take a Malaysian standards using a Hazen-Williams formula and the balance to the minimum pressure. So there is a different option here. The balance to the minimum pressure is nothing but if you're not connected to a pump, it will connect to the it will calculate the required pressure for us. And there is a second option. If you have a pump, you can also connect to the pump, and then you can do the balance to the pump pressure, so that you can also understand that whether this can be workable or not, right? And in some cases we have a renovation projects, so we already know the fixed pressure, so then we have to follow that fixed point pressure. Then you can use a fixed feed point pressure, then you will automatically size according to that pressure. So here also no restrictions, and you can also specify the warning limits. If the velocity is increasing more than 10 meters per second, so as per the regulations, as per the Malaysian standards, you cannot exceed more than 10 meters per second velocity. So as per BOMBO regulations, you might not exceed 10 meters per second. So you can set a warning limit so that the software, if exceeding your sprinkler calculations, or your pipe is exceeding or your flow is exceeding 10 meters per second, then you can actually get a notification, and that velocity is maximum. Then you can look for the alternative options. That's also possible. For example, just click OK. Then now my sprinkler calculation report is ready. So where you can see what are the standards that I have used, what is my project name, and what is my design area, what are the hazard class that I have used, what's the hydraulic method that I'm using, Hazen-Williams formula, and the calculation is based on the Malaysian standard MS1910, and the design density, and the density viscosity, and also the area of the design area in meter square, and the feed point number. No, number 1 is a feed point, and the weakest sprinkler is 15, and the weakest sprinkler pressure is 1 bar. And here we can see the results. Required pressure level at the feed point is 3 bar. So I'm operating 9 sprinklers, so that it required 3 bar. That's okay. And the flow rate is 1133.1 liters per second, and the flow at the weakest sprinkler is 115. So I just cross-check that whether this is acceptable or not, and I also check through my pump catalog that this is adequate or not. So then if it is adequate, then I can go for it, or otherwise I can go by resizing the sprinkler network by using the different methods, and I can also recalculate the required capacities, right? So then you can also know the 4 weakest sprinklers, and you can also see the sprinkler results, and the sprinkler results, and the equivalent length values, right? So then you can also export this into a Excel, or you can also print this as a PDF. So then just print it out with a PDF and put it on my desktop. So SPR report. Then it will automatically save it to my report. Then this here is my report that I have printed. Then what I need to do is I just need to put a type block and sign in chop submit to the Boomba, right? So maybe you can do that, right? I close my. So then what? Once you're done, you have to update this information to the model. Otherwise, that information may not be updated into the model that has calculation report. So you have to update. So once you update, what you get, you go to the show node numbers. Then, for example, particular network. So you can see the network. And you can see the node number 1, node number 2, node number 3, whatever the node numbers that we required is automatically placed. And now we can verify these node numbers against the report. And if you want to do a drafting, for example, you want to put a place a pipe size here, so you can also, it's also possible. For example, you want to do a tagging, so let me do a tagging, annotate. So I'm using MagiCAD tag tools already loaded the tags. So tag all category and a pipe tags and the MC pipe tag, pipe size. So for example, just put that and then it will automatically place the tag. For example, so I go to edit family. I'll remove unnecessary information from this editing family and then I just edit this. I just need a size and I also follow the suffix 0 to so diameter and also I want to put it over the center and I don't want the underline and I want to place this with the red color. Load into the project, override the existing words. So there you can see that the pipe sizes is also mentioned, right? And you can also use some tips and tricks. If you attend my class, I will be teaching the tips and tricks how to manage this value extra. This is vertical pipe diameter that is not required to show in the model. It's not required to show in the drawing. So then you can also using that tips and tricks, you can also erase them. So that's also possible. In one way you can manage that. So in terms of presentation wise, in few within a few minutes I was able to do the place the sprinklers and I was able to connect the sprinklers and I was able to generate the sizes and I was able to do the calculation and also with the drafting. So that is a complete life cycle of a sprinkler system that I could complete within an half an hour, I can say. Right. So coming to the calculation for the domestic water, you just need to go to the piping and then you just go to the domestic water balancing. You just select the pipe. So when you want to do the domestic water balancing, what you need to do is you need to make sure that the loading units is loaded because BS I'm using BS standards. So if you want to use BS most of Malaysian designers are using BS standards. So pretty similar with MS standards. That is same actually. BS standard is copied into MS standards. Right. So you can actually specify the calculation rules here in the settings. You can by default set up the project UK or Danish or Russian. So there are different country standards available. So we can use that. So we are using UK standards, so you can directly use that BS standard. So, and if you want to change anything, you can also change. You can see that for the sprinkler calculation, I'm using these. So there are different types of calculation we available in the MagiCAD. So you can also set up that, right? So make sure you are using the standard setup already. Then you can also specify that loading units must be placed. So if this loading unit is wrongly placed, your calculation, your balancing or your pressure drop values may be not correct. So there is a regulation on top of ABS standards is already regulating that. So according to that, we follow the loading units. So for example, you can see in the data set, piping, yeah, install product. So if you go to any domestic water device, so for example, yeah, maybe this, yeah, you can see that the loading units, others are a bathtub. So what is the value for the bathtub? The loading unit for what is a loading unit for the beaded basin, kitchen sink, what is a loading unit? So this is all already specified in our localizations, so that you don't need to separately do it. So if you want to do a domestic water calculations, you can use loading units, but I'm not sure Revit can do that, right? So that is mandatory. You have to load the loading units, and then you can go for the domestic water balancing. Then you can specify the calculate the required pressure, or you can also feed point pressure. So if you know that there is already such certain pressure, you can use that. If you don't know, you can use calculate the required pressure and what is the domestic water high if you want a warning limits, it's more than 100 kilopascal pressure. It's going to give us a warning in the cold water and the hot water. And the high flow is 150%. You can also take it as a warning limit. And the timing and minimum limits you can also set up. Then you can go for a calculation. So all you need to do is select the pipe. Could not see the network connection. Let me check this. Okay. So maybe string domestic water balancing. Yeah, here we can see that the pipes are drawn, and you can see the weakest. You can see the index root in the green color. So means reaching water at the last point may be the difficult position. So that's considered as a difficult or the weakest point or a index point. And you can also see for the hot water, and here you can also see the information, what is the size, what is the length of the segments, and what is the flow, and flow is here, and what are the loading units, and what is the velocity, what is the total pressure loss, what is the total pressure and the total pressure loss, and the total pressure is here. So all the information is in the report. So these reports can be printed in PDF or can be exported into Excel. So there is no restriction on that. And this is for the hot water, and in general, you can also check that what is the total flow and what is the total pressure and total fluid temperature and the density and the fluid dynamic viscosity and also the volume. So all this information is provided, and you can use them in the any reports. You can use this report and you can submit to the authorities anytime. So all I need to do is update to the model, then we update it. So same goes with heating and cooling. So whenever you have a device connected, you need to specify that what is the flow rate of these supply pipe supply, for the flow rate for the supply, what is the flow rate for the return. So you can specify in this model. Then once you specify that, you no need to worry about anything. So then it will automatically follow. MagiCAD will automatically do the sizing and pressure calculation for you. So if you have a fan coil unit, you can also specify what is the water required in and out flow rates, in and out capacity of that device. Then you will automatically do the sizing, and you will automatically do the balancing, right? So go for the heating and cooling balancing. So specify this method, and then and same goes with the balance to the minimum pressure, and then select the pipe, either hot or cool water, doesn't matter. So that's going to be our spring report for the cool water. You can see that the very chilled water, and this is for the supply, and this is for the return. And you can also see that highlight in the drawing. We will also open the views and then show that which area of the pipes are that. So this is the index route that we are looking at. Right. So update to the model, then this information will be updated. So all the pipes are comes out to be very detailed information, right? So for example, if I pick the pipe, so then all the pipes contains the information. What is the total pressure loss in that pipe? What is the total flow in that pipe? What is the velocity? Every information. That's what the building information model stands for. So when it comes to the M&E information, you might need to fill in all these information. Some areas, yes, some areas may not be required all this information, but if you do a real engineering calculation using the real models, then you might need this. And if you transfer this information, you can also transfer this information into the facilities management. So they won't be having any issues to maintain. So they already knowing that what are the you already know they might be knowing that um, what are the equipments they require, what are the pressures, or what are the standards that they need to follow if they do the maintenance for the devices, right? And what else I can show here today is, yeah, and you can also do the sanitary flow calculations. That's okay. And let me show you some of the productivity tools for today is crossing tools. For example, if you want to do a crossing, right? So when you want to do a crossing here, let me show you 3D view and the 2D view. Yeah. So here is our 3D. I'm going to share it and the 2D. Those tiles. Yeah, this is my plan view and the 3D view. So here you can see that there are the different pipes and the different ducts and different trays of crossing each other and clashing each other, right? So these kind of situations you might face during the coordination meetings, right? When you want to do a crossing, what you do normally in the Revit is you have to make a section and then you have to draw. But in MagiCAD, you can use a crossing tools. For example, you want to use a vertical crossing and you can specify the start point and the end point, and then you can take a reference on top of the existing or on top of the on center of the existing element, on bottom of the existing element. So this on top is not particular that you have to be specified from your model. It can be from your link model, or it can be from your IFC model or link model. Any object can be taken into the reference, right? So I can take this reference and then on top of it, so there you can see I'm using the 45 degrees and I'm crossing. For example, if in case I want to go into the 90 degrees, so the software says there is an error. Why? Because there is not sufficient gap in between the two pipes. So I can adjust with a tolerance of 100 mm, then it will automatically make a connection with a 90 band. You can see that. So it's already, you can also preview in the more in the toolbar as well, so that once this is satisfied your requirement, so they can just click OK. So means you just specify where you want to cross, you will automatically cross over for you. So if you want to do multiple together, you can also do a multiple crossing. You can also do a single. So just specify the start point, end point, and then pick up the similar objects. Then click finish and take on top of this item. Then you can see that all the elements that we have selected is going to cross that particular segment. You can see, yes, that is the crossing options, right? So you can also do that crossing options. Not only just that, you can also do the crossing for the horizontal pipes, which is running one over the other. So for example, if you want to do the crossing horizontal, start point and the end point, and select the similar, finish, and then target it where you want to cross from the point. So this can be like you're using a wall crossing a column or a beam or anything. If you have a column, you want to cross the column by using the pipes. So you can automatically do a horizontal crossing. And you can also see the preview here, right? So that is also possible. You can also change the direction. You can go to the left or you can go to the right. So any direction. So then what else we can do is we can also do a standard connection. For example, if I want to do a standard connection from this pipe to this pipe, so we will automatically specify the list out all the possible fittings. Means I can make a connection with a 290 bands, or I can make a connection with a 260 bands or 245 bands, or a 190 or 190 band from the bottom. I can also choose a tap connection or a T connection, or for example, we want to make a smooth to flow direction so that I can use 0 to 45. So then I click OK. So then if I want to apply the other areas, you can also apply for the multiple together. And you can see that this is also possible, 290 bands or 190, 145, like that. I means, yeah, you can choose a direction of 190, 145, 45. See 45 bands. So you don't have a corner space, maybe you might think so. 90, 15. So there are different connections possible that can make connection done. So then once you're done, you can click OK to complete that. So in other case, for example, this pipe elevation is a different height, and this one is a different height. So in that case, I want to match these two. What I can do is I can use a smart move connection. So where this smart move will specify, I want to move this item top to top or bottom to bottom matching. So since it's piping, we go for the bottom of the pipe, bottom to bottom pipe matching. Then I can do, then it will automatically adjust according to the existing pipe, and then I can click OK. Then when I do a connection, standard connection, it don't need a angles. It will automatically make a straight connection without any hesitation. Right? That is also possible. And we also have productivity tools. One of the common tools that we commonly use is pipe sleeves. Whenever we have columns or structure walls or archi walls, we need to create the openings. That is also one of the that we may need to create a pipe sleeve, or you might need to request for opening, right? So in MagiCAD, you can also do that without in a one click. So all you need to do is you can specify in the data set, you can go to your settings, and then you can specify the opening distances, or you can also give us size ranges. Means some areas you might need the pipe sleeves based on the sizes. So using these BWO size ranges, you can specify the pipe sizes and what is the opening. For example, 25 diameter, you need a 50 mm opening or 50 mm pipe sleeve. You can also specify that. And you can also select the 2D symbols when you present in the drawing. When you print out the drawing, that in the drawing you can also specify that this symbol belongs to a opening or pipe sleeve. So you can also specify using these symbols, right? So we have no restrictions on that. And then you can also go to the size ranges, so where you can see, for example, sprinkler pipe opening. So you can specify the offset value for the 65 mm, 80 mm, 10 mm. So if you specify that, it will follow that. So then all you need to do is go to the building openings and create an automatic opening and select the objects. So I select all the objects in that particular area. Then I just click OK. So now these are all the openings is going to process. So now what is these openings do? Means it will not create an opening, it will just request and provision. It means as an MEP engineer, we are not responsible for the openings. Means you have to request openings from the architect or from the structure engineers. They have to approve the openings before we proceed, right? So after that, what we need to do is we have a free plugin for the structure engineers and also the archi engineers. Whoever purchase our software, they can share this plugin with their partners who are working together in the BIM project. So they can share this And then once they share, they can use this information and then manage openings data. Then once you see the manage openings data, then you have a status whether it is accepted or rejected. So once they reject, please revise maybe. So they can also put a comment section. So, and after that, you can also save this report and then put in the report. So usually we use RFIs to request openings. So end of the day, we file a lot of RFIs, and then we ended up with no RFI is been written, no data for the RFIs, which RFI is approved, which opening is requested, so we have no data. But in MagiCAD, you have all the tracking data that which is being requested, which is being approved, which is not being approved, and all the information is in the Excel and the 3D format. Then once the architect is accepted everything, then they can create the openings, because the wall is created by myself. I can create opening here. So then here you can also see the information such as which discipline. Owner is V, is I can specify V as ventilation, S is a sprinkler, E is electrical. You can specify them. And what is a host, whether it is a slab or it is a wall, and what is the opening sizes, what are the coordinates, and what is the opening IDs. So all this information is also placed. No, I don't want to save the report, for example. Yeah. Then you can see that once that is approved, and now the opening is fully created in the model, so that you can see the wall is open now. So it's a process. It's not just simply if you want to create opening, you can create. It's not that, right? So then I will show one more productivity tool, and we can close it. I think we're reaching the time, 1.5 hours. Yeah, so let me show you one more Engage module in our family, which is supported hangers, which is also required in the lot of places, especially in the LOD, which is if the LOD detail or beam level 2, most of them are required to perform the supported hangers, right? So then in MagiCAD, we also have a separate module called separate license for that supported hangers. You can see you have a direct options to install the supported hangers. Unlike Revit, you don't need to convert your model into fabrication parts, and then you have to create your own fabrication parts, and then end of the day you have to place them one by one. But in MagiCAD, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is select what type of hanger you need. So you can see that there are plenty of different single rodded, multiple support, or multiple layer, multi-column support, or wall support, or wall support from the using the clamp, or both side supports, or from the floor mounted support, or floor multi-layer supports, or bracings, means you have an extra support from the side, or integrated hangers. These are the different types of hangers that we carry out. And then these hangers is also comes from the manufacturer and also the generic data. So I'm using the single layer hangers. So all I need to do is I specify my pipes that I want to install the hanger and click finish. Then, because I'm using a multiple pipes, so I might need a rod. Okay, so I can choose what type of hanger I need to use. Maybe this, yeah, with the angle bar. And here you can see there is a dimension here in the model. You can see that the dimensions is given in the form of inputs, right? FHO is the height of the hanger, that is, but this FHO is automatically calculated based on the floor level. If there is a slab, it will automatically stick to the slab. If it is a link model or your own model, doesn't matter. So it still pick up the slab, even your archi is linked. So otherwise, if not linked, if you don't have any floor, it will automatically follow the floor height. So that's also reasonable, right? Then go to you can see the tolerances, RED or LT, right side tolerance or left side tolerance, right end dimension or left end dimension 30 mm. You can see that. So you can also specify these values if you want to design your own hangers, right? So it's not meant you have to follow the given value. So you can also adjust, and then rest of the area will also adjust. If even the pipe sizes changes or number of pipe changes, you will automatically adjust the given tolerance with a 30 mm at the end, or a 30 mm tolerance at the in between. And FHO, LHO also you can adjust FHO and FH1. And you can also change the rod dimension. For example, if you want to change this rod to D8 or 8 mm rod or 6 mm rod or 10 mm rod, so that's also possible. And you can also change the cross arm dimension. So we can see this is a cross arm, so different sizes are available for the cross arm. You can also change that. Once you're done, you just click OK. Then in between, I want to put some U-bolt because maybe the pipes can move around. Likewise, integrated supported hangers, and then this pipe, and select the hanger and then select the pipe. And then you can also install the integrated hangers. So then you can choose what type of U clamp, or maybe I want to mat underneath and the support. Yeah, and you can also change this rod value, anything. So everything is chosen by the user. So whatever you require, you can choose. Yep. So one more left. So because these all, it's not one single hanger, it's a combination of different hangers. So that's why you just need to create one at least. So once I create these, then I have no hassle, no problem with the further. Then select these. Now I'm done with the hanger immediately. Then I can also show you in 3D view. So you can see my hangers here, and with a rod on top of the hangers, right? So this is what exactly how we do install, right? So in case what we need to do is, for example, if I want to array these hangers across my piping, so what I need to do is array supporting hangers, and I specify the dimension on how many numbers. I don't do any numbers. I can just specify the 999. If it is more than that, if it is lesser than that, it will automatically. If it's required lesser than that, it will automatically install for me array across the fittings, and they keep the user defined points. Then all I need to do is select the hanger, select the direction. Yes. Then you will just need the 23, even though I specify 999. It's a maximum number. So even my pipe direction changes, the hanger will follow the direction as well. So now it's generating all the hangers. Yeah. You can see that all the hangers are placed within the 1 meter distance, and you can see them are nicely organized, and you can also see them in the 3D model, right? Right. So that's about the supporting hangers and the piping modules. And last but not least, MagiCAD. MagiCAD is a product that we give a free tool for the users, MagiCAD user, if they want to create or modify any of the product. So most of us use Revit advanced functions, Revit family creation or Revit family modifications to modify the products. But in MagiCAD, you can actually use MagiCreate to create your own product. So if you want to create a copy, you can create a copy, and then you can rename it, and you can do your own product. And all you need to do is you just follow the dimensions here. You can see what is L. and you just look at the L and you can change the value of the L. So if you have a catalog, all these dimension is provided in your local catalog. You know, you worry that you have to use a manufactured products. You're not mandatory to use manufactured products. You can also create your own product by using MagiCAD. And you also have a technical data like flow in the devices. For example, pumps. You can see we have a lot of pumps available for us as per the local and the international requirements. So you can also use these pumps directly to do the new sizes according to the requirement. And then what else is you can see the technical information of the pipes. You can see the pump curve diagram and the power supply to the pump. All this information you can also put up in the data, right? And for the sprinklers, water suppression, yeah. For example, if you take a sprinkler, you can see this more detailed product, and you can see the technical information of the sprinkler. What is the degrees operation temperature, and what is the type of the sprinkler response class, and what is the K factor of the sprinklers. All this information you can put in using the MagiCAD Create. So once you put it in the MagiCAD Create, you can load them into MagiCAD dataset. Then you can use them in the Revit. So unless you install inside the Revit, you won't convert these files into your Revit files. So once you convert and once you install, then only you will convert. I was using some connection types. So based on your families loaded into the piping series, that will be able to that will make you connect. That will connect the proper sizes. So for example, if you don't want a 45 degrees, then you will go to the straight T. That's also possible. I'm sorry, video stopping. Oh, sorry, Ferdy. Channeling, I hope I answered your question. I think you are asking about the sanitary connections, I believe, right? Is MagiCAD can calculate the temperature drop along the chilled water pipe. Temperature drop. No, we don't calculate the condense. Yeah. So we can do the pressure drop only, pressure drop and the sizing, not the temperature drop. I'm sorry. And yeah, any other questions, please do rise. If you have any questions, yeah, please do rise here. Any questions? Muhammad Azmi. I will mute your mic. Azmi, if you'd like to ask a question, you can ask. Is that okay? Yeah. Azmi, you can ask a question. Now I have muted. You already self-muted yourself. You can unmute and talk. If you raise the hand, you can raise your hand. Those who like to ask a question directly, those who like to ask a question directly, they can raise the hand. I will unmute their mic, and then they can ask the question directly. can show the sound calculation sample. Sound calculation for the ducting, right? So since this is a piping, I didn't want to touch the ducting. So then, since you ask about the sound calculation, definitely why not? Can we wet riser system in the MagiCAD? Can use a wet? Yes, of course we can use a wet riser system. Is MagiCAD can calculate the temperature? Okay. Okay, wet riser system can be done, which is pretty similar with the hydrant system. So you can do the pressure drop and flow calculations for that. So we use a normal velocity or pressure loss methods to do the sizing. So let me show you some sound calculations since somebody is asking. Yeah, Azmi, you have any question? So let me go to the ventilation systems. So for example, if you want to do the sound calculation, so what you need to do is you can do a sound calculations. Sound calculations, and you specify the balancing method for the sound, then select the network, then it will generate the sound calculation for the ducting. I mean, you mean the ducting sound calculation? I believe that you're asking about the duct sound calculation, right? Yes, you can see the sound calculations here. So this is based on the fan coil. If the fan coil is fixed already, you can calculate based on the fan coil. If the fan coil is not given, is not kept in the network, you can actually go for the other other way around. You can specify the based on the fan coil input. You can put a sound information of the fan coil into the product, and then you can carry out the sound calculations. You can see that. So we'll balance the sound accordingly. So then once you click the update, then this sound information is transferred into the ducts. Right. Can apply to the pipe. Sorry, we cannot apply the sound calculation to the pipe. So no, we sorry, I'm sorry. The MagiCAD is an add-on of Autodesk Revit. Yes, this is the MagiCAD is add-on for Revit and CAD. You can do both. We can use both services. MagiCAD CAD, you can do coordination drawing for all services. Yes, MagiCAD CAD can do the coordination drawing. Even MagiCAD for AutoCAD, you can also export the Navisworks files. So most of our European market, we have more users on MagiCAD for AutoCAD than the MagiCAD for Revit. So they still use an open beam, we can say open beam concept, and then they export into IFCs, and then they export into the Navisworks files, and then they can do the coordination. I hope I answer your question, Ms. Asmi. Please confirm. Yeah, sorry, Fatin, we cannot do the sound calculation for the piping, unfortunately. So we're not yet there. Yeah. Anyone else like to ask some questions? You can even we can go to our website, and you can also ask. You can visit our website glodon.my, and you can also ask questions there. We will reach out you possible. And if no questions, I'll call it a day. And thank you. Hope this workshop will be benefited for all of attendees today. Don't forget to complete the post-event survey to receive a certificate of attendance. And thank you once again for joining the workshop today. If you have any other queries later, can always contact us from our website, which is www.gloden.my, or contact me directly, Rajesh. You can find me in LinkedIn and Facebook also. And thank you. Stay safe. Selamat menyambut ibadah puasa. Thank you.